Hi, I'm Nada Hogan. I am a acupuncturist, a spiritual life coach, a bioenergetic synchronization technique practitioner, and a spiritual bioenergetic synchronization technique practitioner, and also a remote healer. And there's a couple other things that I do, but those are the big guns that I like to address and work with clients with. So as a spiritual life coach, people ask me, what does a spiritual life coach do? And a spiritual life coach cultivates change with their coaching clients beyond the thinking mind. So it's being able to remove the thinking mind out of the coaching that's happening, because the thinking mind wants to carry the stories, the paradigms, the limiting beliefs. So as a spiritual life coach, we want to embody and embrace all of the energy of the chakra system and the universal energy, because everything is energy. The computer that I'm using to record this video, the lights that are around, the curtains behind us, everything is energy. And when we can learn to work with that energy, we start living our life on a higher plane. So one of the other things that a spiritual life coach would do is help to integrate all of the life experiences that a person has gone through into the wholeness of that person. And we love more than anything else in awakening people to the greatness of which they are and always have been, but have just forgotten. So why are spiritual life coaches so important? And this is a huge one. We have been programmed and trained and conditioned to live our lives by our five senses. Now, that's not saying our five senses are bad or wrong. They're not. They're beautiful. They allow us to feel the warm summer sun on our skin. We can see the pine trees blowing in the air, or the palm trees. We can smell the fresh air after the rain. Our five senses are beautiful, but they're a very limited portion of us. So I equate the five senses to driving a Dodge Dart in the 1960s, when there was a whole limousine service available to us. And all we had to do was call the limousine service and say, hey, come and pick me up at such and such a time and take me to the airport, instead of having to trudge down to the car, scrape off the snow, warm up the car, put the gas in, drive to the airport. The thinking mind, the five senses that are within that thinking mind, limit us to only doing what is evidenced in our five senses. In fact, people spend a lot of time working with the nervous system, and they will do a meditation to help calm the nervous system, which is beautiful, or they'll do yoga to integrate or to calm the nervous system, which is also beautiful, but it's only part of the story. There's a master system, and it's the magnetic electrical system, and it's exactly what everything is with the law of attraction. And most everybody is familiar with the law of attraction. And when we are trying to navigate our lives and live our lives on purpose and doing, being, experiencing, and showing up in the world as a person we want to, we don't do that from our five senses. We navigate that from this electromagnetic system, which is the master system, to this nervous system. So that magnetic electrical system that I'm talking about, that's the limousine service. So if we can tap into that, then we are able to enjoy this experience of our life without all of the bumps and bruises. They still happen, but it's not nearly as rough of a ride. And we start to recognize that all of the little bumps and bruises that we've gone through, and even the huge bumps and bruises that we've gone through in our life, they're only here to catapult us to the next level of our own greatness. Nothing shows up in life to thwart our growth or to shut us down. Everything shows up in life. Everything shows up in life to up level our own becomingness of our own human potential. Because had we not had that experience, we never would have known how great and how brilliant we truly are. We're born with this, and it just ends up getting shut down as we're navigating life until you know it a little differently. And then you realize this will never be shut down again. This is opening up. It is opening up wide. And it's almost as if life takes that big red carpet and just rolls it out in front of you, and life gets easier and oh so much more fun. So people often ask, what is the difference between a spiritual life coach and a life coach? And there are very many similarities in that. And I think it also depends on the kind of training that you've got. Spiritual life coaching is absolutely my passion because it opens up this whole other world of energy. And I will keep reiterating that because when we know that and we're living from that place of knowing everything is energy, including me, everything is energy, then we start realizing we're not sitting in the stands of the game watching it. We're the players. It's participatory, and we're in there actually playing the game. So a spiritual life coach will work with universal laws and spiritual principles, which are omnipresent. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It's like gravity. If you were in the northern hemisphere, if you're in the southern hemisphere, if you're in China, if you're in Seattle, it doesn't matter. Gravity will work exactly the same. The laws are immutable. And when we align ourselves with the universal principles and spiritual laws, it's just like electricity. It has to work. If the electricity is wired correctly, when you flip the light switch on, you're going to get lights. You're not surprised that you get lights. You would only be surprised when the light doesn't turn on. And the light only wouldn't turn on because something is off with the electrical system or the bulb has burned out. So a spiritual life coach will bring in all of the energy of which everything is. And a life coach may work a little bit more on the surface, where it's more identifying goals, how to strategize a certain thing so you can get to a certain place in your life. And a spiritual life coach, I just think they're so much more fun because they encompass the whole entire limousine service, and they bring all of this together because we don't have these small little lives. We have these ginormous lives, and we're just used to living them in a very small way. So spiritual life coaching absolutely brings in all of the universal principles and spiritual laws and helps you to learn how to live in accordance with them, in alignment with them. So truly, you begin living the life that you always have dreamt possible, always have dreamt for yourself, but didn't believe was possible for yourself. What kind of transformation takes place in a successful spiritual coaching session? Well, one of the things that happens is we incorporate the energy codes. And the energy codes, it's a 7-step system, but we're using breath work and the energy. So energy is, and this is proven scientifically, energy is constantly bombarding our body by 11 billion bits of information per millisecond. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around what that is, but we are constantly being bombarded with information, but the conscious mind can only absorb so much of it, a very small fraction of it. So when we are working with the energy codes in a spiritual coaching session, we are teaching the mind to come onto the body. You get to discern, do I have a pain in my solar plexus because I ate something that doesn't agree with me? Or is it because I'm super nervous about this thing that I want to bring into my life and I'm going to actually take the step with that today? Because we've been telling ourselves, oh, I have a pain in my stomach, it's got to be something that I ate. When the truth could very well be, it's just your solar plexus, your powerhouse, your power station that's saying, Ah, this is enthusiasm. This is great excitement, and it's happening right here in your powerhouse because you're growing into your own self. Or maybe you feel something that's happening. It's that knot in your throat or the lump that happens in your throat. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just can't even say anything. And I don't, my throat is sore. Am I catching a cold? Am I getting a sore throat? And when you learn to work with the energy codes, you are able to distinguish, I don't have a sore throat at all. My throat may be giving me the symptoms that it's sore, maybe raw, but it's because I'm having to step into my power of manifesting. The throat's all about manifestation. And I'm having to step into that manifesting, and I have these enormous limiting beliefs behind me or the stories that are preventing me. So if I shut my voice down, my subconscious mind can do that for me, shut my voice down, then I don't ever have to step into the power of manifesting what it is that I want in my life. And my life can just continue going, same old, which is so very boring. But we do that until we know how to live our lives differently. So when you are in a coaching session, this is something that we use all the time. Bringing the breath in, there's many different ways of breathing this in, but it's breathing in and pulling the mind out of the head and into the body, training the mind to come to the body and let me know what is going on. Because actually, think about this. How often do you think about your body, except for the fact, am I strong enough to lift this? Are my legs strong enough to get me from here to there? Do I have enough abdominal muscles to get up and off of the bed and, start my day? Where the body itself is always sending us information. We know this. You get frustrated, and we condense ourselves. And every time we do that, it's the body contracting. If we recognize that, we start saying, oh, something needs to be pulled inward. What if I just took a breath and took the correct breath? And we always talk about what are the best breaths to work with each one of the chakra systems, all 12 of them. And we take the breath in to, I just felt it here in my throat. I was so afraid about asking for the raise or asking for this promotion or asking this person out on a date. And I feel this constriction. If I can breathe it here, bring my mind into my body, all of a sudden my body then will start to release, and this thing that was constricted melts away. Because it's only here to tell the mind something is going on. And in this case, it just happened to be fear. It wasn't that you were sick at all. So when we are able to do that, when we're able to take this information and pull it in and know, why does my body hurt in this place? Because the body is always here to tell us something. It's not here just to carry this head around. Although we've lived our life, I know I have, up until I was 46 years old, lived my life as if my body was only here to carry my head around. But it is a transducing, transmuting, transforming plant. And when we can use it like that and embody the information, embody the fear, embody what's coming to us, embody the constriction or the expansion, we start knowing. The intuition kicks in, that gut knowing, that heart knowing, all of that. We just know. We know on such a level, we know that we know that we know, and nobody would be able to talk us off of it or knock us off of our balance because we know it's so solid inside of us. People will ask me sometimes, how can I help them incorporate the law of attraction into their spiritual life? And the answer to that is, everything that you want to attract into your life, that you truly want to attract into your life, is absolutely destined for you. If it's not destined for you, it is only because there is something bigger and better for you. The law of attraction, it's just a vibration. So the law of attraction itself is a secondary law to the law of vibration. Everything vibrates because everything is energy. So if you are vibrating at an energy that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I've never done it before, who would ever hire me? Like, how would I ever be able to get that position? If you're saying that, and that's the vibration you're coming from, yet out of this other side of your mouth, you're saying, oh, I want the promotion, or I want to be in a deep and loving and rich relationship, or I want to be able to work while I'm on the road. Those two vibrations are not congruent. And so the law of attraction isn't going to work, because the primary vibration, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, it's never going to happen for me, that's the vibration that's going to be vibrated out into the universe. And that's what you would attract more of. The universe always says to us, yes. So I'm not good enough. Yes. Right? So then I'll make sure that you know you're not good enough. It's not that the universe is trying to dump on us, but it says yes to what it is that we are vibrating at. So as a spiritual life coach, it's helping people to understand and know that paradigms are always going to come up. And a paradigm is just a limiting belief. And limiting beliefs are absolutely nothing but thoughts that we have thought over and over and over enough times until we believe them. And you know this, because somewhere along the line, you may have told a lie when you were a child, and you told the lie so well and connected all the dots so nobody would find out that you actually stole that candy. And you said it so many times that a period came in your life when you really couldn't discern what's the truth. I don't know if it was that was the truth or was that the truth. It is exactly the same thing with limiting beliefs. So with a spiritual coach, you are able to recognize that the universe, life itself, is here fully, 100% in support of you, for which you came to live out your life completely on purpose. So if you're suffering, if you're in agony, if you keep bumping up against the same problems, you're not in alignment with what it is that you want. And the spiritual coach then helps that person to see, like, we're pulling in all of this information and we want to get underneath that story. We don't necessarily want to go into the story and why did all this happen? We want to get underneath it. This is the result we want. Let's get under here so we can start feeling into this. So I'm going to share a quick story. I'm in Tucson, and this was one of my biggest dreams in my life 4 years ago, to be able to get out of cold Minnesota winters. But I had a huge limiting belief, and I guarantee the law of attraction was not on my side for me to leave Minnesota and be able to still work and generate an income. But I had that dream, and it was so alive inside of me that I knew there had to be a way that I could attract that in. So 4 years ago, I got out of Minnesota, and my husband reluctantly came along for 2 weeks because he was afraid. And now he's on board and he's with me every 2 months in January and February, because that was the vibration we wanted. We had to be in the vibration that I am more creative, I am more thoughtful, I am more expanded when I'm in warm and inviting environments. And that was the reason why we ended up coming down to Tucson. So when you understand that your coach helps you to stay in alignment, because we can't see the frame when we're the ones in the picture. And we'll say things that will absolutely trip us up. And we're saying, no, but I'm in the right vibration. I'm in vibration for this thing I'm trying to attract into my life. And yet we catch you saying things like, oh, well, I wish it would happen, but I don't think it's going to be this year, maybe next year. And the universe would say, why would you wait till next year? I'm available this year to bring you whatever it is that you want. So it's about staying in alignment, in the vibrational alignment of what it is that you want. And your spiritual coach then, of course, will help you to do that, but also remind you that you're not in that little Dodge Dart, that you're working with all of this energy, this universal energy that is absolutely here to support you in whatever it is that you want. You only can want it, whatever it happens to be, because it's available to you. And if it wasn't available to you, you wouldn't have dreamt it up. You only dream it up because it's available to you. And then we continue working down that path and staying in energetic alignment with that, and always pulling in all of these universal forces, because we can capture these and we pull these in and we feel this. And you know this, you felt that wonderful, oh my God feeling. And you've also felt that constricting feeling. So this is all energy that we work with to keep you in alignment, working with the law of attraction and what it is that you want to bring into your life. What inspired me to become a spiritual life coach and to open up my own practice was 12 years ago. My 18-year-old daughter, Dara, was killed in a car accident. And at that time in my life, I knew nothing about energy. I knew nothing about spirituality. I knew about church and I knew about God, but I pictured God as kind of like a bigger version of Santa Claus that would maybe give it to that person, definitely not to that person. And that one gets everything, and these guys are doomed. And none of that ever really made sense to me. So if somebody was to talk to me about any of the things that I'm sharing with you on this video, I would have turned around and walked away. Truly, it wasn't on my radar at all. But when my daughter was killed in a car accident, that event literally should have killed me, if not physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I truly should have quit living. And the complete opposite happened. This life force energy kept rising up in me. I knew nothing about acupuncture. I knew nothing about energy. Yet every day I felt this life that was seeking a way to continue living through me. And that caught my attention. And so I started studying everything about spirituality, everything about energy, everything about quantum physics. And I enrolled with my first coaching certification program with Mary Morrissey, who is all of teaching everything about spiritual laws and universal principles. And from then I went on to Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Lynn McTaggart, and my most recent mentor and certification is under Dr. Sue Morter as an energy codes facilitator and energy codes practitioner. So if it wasn't for the passing of my daughter, I could pretty much guarantee that I would still be living a very victim life. That life is happening to me. Life is not fair. Some people, luck of the draw, like you just got a lucky break, and other people, you just have to suffer your way through it. And I was one of those. You just have to suffer your way through it. And as soon as this merry-go-round is over, I will be very happy to get off of it. But it was that life force energy that rose up in me, the most beautiful blessing that my daughter could have given to me. And when I started understanding how energy works, how all of this works, oh my God. And I mean, oh my God, I was taken. And I have done nothing for the last 12 years but study this information, embody, engage with, and teach and tell and share with every person I get the blessed opportunity to do that with. Because when you know you can live your life completely on purpose and in such a wonderful state all the time, it doesn't mean I don't get into a bad mood, but I catch it and I can switch it very quickly. When you get to live your life like that, wouldn't you want to share that with everybody? Absolutely. And that is what happened with me. And that's how I got into this practice. And as far as I can tell right now, I don't ever plan on changing anything in my life, but teaching, coaching, and sharing this information, because it is absolutely 100% life-changing. And truly, a time comes in your life when you pinch yourself saying, can this truly possibly be my life? And life itself will say, yes, for this is why you came.